Yeah, Nakajima doing a 3:23.2. Where's Hartley now? 15th.
Yeah.
That's on the hour.
It's taking the time to come up, though, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm making, just out of interest, every hour now, how many places are making up. So near enough 4 o'clock in the morning. Let's just start to prepare it. Their information. 4 o'clock in the morning. Is he going to get anybody? Yeah, he'll be up to 14th shortly. 2 places an hour. That's what he's making up. So if we go off that,
it's a hard old slog, isn't it?
That'll be 5 o'clock. That'll be 6 o'clock. 7 o'clock. But these cars then become faster as well, so he might then only get down to 1 car an hour, depending on how close they are apart. The only garage door open at Toyota is the number 8 garage. Car 7 and 9 retiring basically 17 minutes apart after all of that effort.
364 days work gone in 17 minutes.
Brendan Hartley. He's got 40 seconds to get past that car, or he goes on my sheet as being in 15th and not 14th.
So the management from Toyota still in the garage, still stood by the number 8 car, watching it go round.
The number 8 Toyota in the last hour has made up 10 places overall, but it's gone from 46 to 36th, and still many, many, many laps away. And here comes Brendan Hartley in the number 2 car, and he's just about to overtake a place and go up to 14th overall as he goes across the line. Let's just see. Yeah, that's going to put him. He's got another lap now to make up to go past Karun Chandok, who is in 13th place. And that is him on his way onto another lap and out. So Lotterer leads by 10 laps.
Ben Hanley now on board the number 21 Dragon Speed entry. Felix Rosenqvist out of that car. Looking Metelli stayed on board the number 40 Orica in the LMP2 class. Will be right on board with Brendan Hartley. See how dark it is, but look as he goes past the street lights, how the cockpit lights up. Camera cutting out as we get some interference running down the Mulsanne. There's the number 1 car, our race leader, Andre Lotterer on board. As he passes an LMP2 car around the outside of this slight right-hand kink. 7th gear, what we pull in 313, 14 kilometres an hour before the camera breaks up going into the chicane. Got a yellow at zone 35, don't know what's causing that. Where is zone 35? Zone 35 is in front of us. Why have we got a yellow at the Ford chicane? Because there is a car in the wall.
Oh, I've got an excuse. I can't see that without leaning right forward.
I can see that, and as I stood up, I saw the headlights looking at me. So who's on board the 92? Michael Christensen. Safe pair of hands.
Had he gone as far as...
He's hit the barrier, hasn't he, backwards? The rear deck is up.
Yeah.
If you look, the rear deck, the engine cover is up.
There.
Now, medical car, why have I got blue flashing lights in front of me? People...
Is that a safety car, though?
That is not the safety car. That is the extrication car.
We've got some radio coming up, though.
Here's race director.
We are going to neutralize the old area. We are going to neutralize the old area. Sector 9 is going to be neutralized.
Okay, so 92 Porsche.
Okay, here we go.
Happen? Oh, 5 mile an hour too fast across the apex, one would say. Slap the right hand side. Christensen. Not good.
No, that's not good. I mean, Nicky Team now also, just to give you an update, because into the pits came somebody in amongst all that. But Nicky Team out front. I can't remember who he was chasing down. Was it the Porsche? It wasn't the Porsche. It was one of the Ferraris, I thought. Anyway, Nicky Team out front, 6.5 seconds ahead of Darren Turner in the Pro category. And then it is the other Porsche, the 91 Porsche, that is in third. Sam Bird is in fourth. Priya Guidi fifth. Sixth, Joey Hand. Seventh, Andy Prio. Then it's Garcia, Westbrook and Christensen, who is stopped against the wall. Well, it's the tyre wall.
It didn't go in backwards, which is important.
Went sideways, didn't it?
Yeah, that's good for the Porsche. You know, going in backwards is not a good thing, because if you go in backwards in the Porsche, typically with the way the exhaust system is, you can crush the silencer and crush the tailpipes. Doing that, as we saw with the incident last night with the 66, when Rusinov hit him and he went backwards into the wall at the Porsche curves, caused a big problem. He managed to get it back, but ultimately had to retire the car. So it was better that the car hit sideways as it did than the rear end, potential rear end and engine damage that could have done. So headlights are still off and marshals are with him. We can see it from our commentary box. You can't see it on the screens. Waiting to see the headlights reappear. No, the Manitou is now coming out. So they're going to go and lift the car. He's got it quite well beached then. Manitou going backwards down the gravel trap in front of us.
And he is, depending on where they drop him,
he will come back to the pits.
He can maybe scoot across, can't he?
He can scoot across from there. There's certainly no issue there. We've seen this sort of thing many times before. I remember the Paul Dallalana incident 2 years ago, out of the lead of GTE in the last hour from that same bit of tyre wall.
That's it. So the 92, isn't it? Went off just on the hour.
Others taking the opportunity to stop. So we've got Rags and Hirsch having done a stop.
So yeah, it's just before the Ford chicane, isn't it? It's
it's the midway section.
Yeah, it's
turn my mic on. It's the midway section of the first of the chicane. So 50 off as well.
Again.
But this time, right, so what's going on here? Where's 50 gone off? This is a big off at Mulsanne. So Fernando Reis having his second off on board that car. Fernando, a fantastic driver who, factory Aston driver, knows his way around a car, and strange to see him making these kinds of mistakes. That car's well buried because he's gone in sideways at such a pace. The 91 car taking the opportunity for a pit stop. Out that goes. Say we'd missed whether there was a driver change there.
No, there wasn't.
Not.
No. Well.
He only went in.
Wait a minute.
He only went in. That's the end of a shortened stint. Patrick Dempsey looks on.
No, they did change driver. Leeds in, but Dempsey. That's not Dempsey. Fred there, he seemed to have a bit of a strange stint because he came in very early.
He did.
And then he didn't seem to be in that car very long.
Very long, no. I mean, Fred Makiewicz, a very accomplished driver. Richard Leeds is no slouch either. It's a strong lineup. It's a pro lineup. At the end of the day, you've got the best that they can give. I'm just looking at the Manitou. It's lifted. The Porsche's in the air now. Yeah, here we go. Well, that's the Corvette we're seeing on the screen while we're looking out the window at the Porsche.
Oh, yeah, we've got two being lifted.
Reis has been lifted down at Mulsanne. And then from the AM GTE class. And Reis is going to get put back down very shortly.
Yeah, but they're going to put this Porsche.
That's fine. He'll be able to come across.
Will he? Yeah,
they will. We've seen worse. We've seen people come the wrong way down the circuit.
That was earlier on. That was a Ferrari, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Did that.
So I think equally, I don't think there's enough damage to be a concern over completing a lap. But I don't think he needs to. You know, it was a shallow blow. It was a nice side-on, good wallop. It wasn't a silly. It wasn't a one wheel in. It was a side-for-side bang. And we heard earlier from Ben Keating when he spun the Riley on the way up to the first corner and took out both brake markers, he still managed to keep the thing going, having clouted the tyre wall sideways. And he said, I didn't think I hit the wall. So again, it's those side slaps are far nicer than a corner in. So they're going to drop it now.
That chicane looks quite slow until you start to see them lose it and go and cross the gravel.
It's one of those corners where you think, I can carry 3 mile an hour more in, but carrying 3 mile an hour more in is arriving at the accident 5, 10, 15 mile an hour quicker. So what we got here?
Tyre wall.
Repair the tyre wall.
Repair the tyre wall. That is at the end of the lap. Just so we're actually double dutying here. We're watching with our own eyes something as we watch screens of cars going slowly.
I was on the screen just there, waiting for.
So they're going to rebuild a tyre wall.
Oh, it's far heavier stuff than
that's got damaged rear suspension, hasn't it? And,
that's done. It's going back behind the wall. Doesn't mean that it's out. Doesn't mean that it's out. They can put him back down there as in a place of safety so that he can have a quick review or just fire it up and come. I didn't think he'd done that much damage.
I thought he had gone quite hard. I was surprised.
It was a nice angle though. It's one of those things that it's all about the blow. If you hit it nice and flat and spread the load, you typically don't have so much damage as if you go in one corner and it takes all the load. But right rear corner is pretty deranged.
It is pretty messed up. These cars are obviously in a fast zone, not a slow zone. Look at the pace that they're coming at it. There's some drivers on outlaps. Lotterer in the pits, our race leader, and our first two in P2. Heinemar Hansen is still in the car, but Ollie Jarvis is now taken over the 38 car. He's 3.5 seconds away. There's a big battle on there. And it's 15.4 seconds now between Nicky Thiem and Darren Turner. Darren Turner's obviously just got stumped somewhere because that was only 3 or 4 seconds when I last looked. So
yeah, the race leader accelerates away from the pit lane. See on the steering wheel, FCY, full course yellow, but he's now released pit limiter and away he goes. It's not quite true, the message that was on the steering wheel. 17 has a clunky wheel change. The IDEX Sport Ligier. That car had a troubled warm-up and Thursday night, but they're running well now.
We're in a slow zone here,
on board.
Coming towards the end. Now you can, just as the cameraman zoomed in there, on the right-hand side of the frame, you can see them working on the tyre wall, getting themselves all sorted and hopefully fixed. Slow zone removed. I thought it told me a time. I thought it was...
Well, I don't know whether they know when it's going to be because the Manitou's going back out to move the tyre wall. Christensen has been put down.
The 50
just
car's
the other
back.
side.
50 car has just come back.
Yeah, so he's okay. But Christensen, I'm just trying to look for headlights. I can see crowd gathered around it. The car's been put down, I think, in a public area, looking out. I'm going to have to turn the light out in the commentary box to try and see what's really going on.
Yeah,
it looks to me like there's a big crowd of people around the car.
They've come down from the grandstand, haven't they, to have a look. But it's just out of our sight, really.
All we can see is the roof, and Christensen, that's Christensen with his helmet on.
I mean, it's unless it physically won't drive, he's got to go about 400 metres to his pit box. You would think he would have a go at that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But it might not go anywhere.
I think I just saw Christensen's helmet walk. He's out the car.
I can see him
slowly round the front of the car again.
He's had a look at the back, hasn't he? Yeah, I can see him. We're watching this out of our own eyes. The 50 car back in the pits. I'm
going to keep an eye on what's going on with the Christensen car.
Okay,
out the window.
This cameraman's been told to move out of the way. I think he's made a few people quite fed up. So Christensen is still... He's now been lifted behind the wall as we have cars coming towards us on the Mulsanne straight. The other car that caused this slow zones was the 50 Labra competition car. That is now back in the pits. Fernando Rees having a bit of a nightmare in his stint in the dark. Couple of little problems for him. Half a second between Heinemann Hansen and Ollie Jarvis. The 39 car has just gone past us without any lights on the side, and that is on the light panel, the number panel, which they'll have to get that fixed.
They've been letting people do it at the next stop quite sensibly. Manitou coming back behind the wall. Don't block Christensen in. But no sign of Christensen trying to fire the car yet.
Ollie Jarvis, this is two cars. It looks like just like one. Jarvis is really close here. This is for first in LMP2 and second and third overall in the race. It's a Rebellion versus a Jackie Chan racing car. Both Oricas.
There's a pedestrian tunnel that runs underneath where we're sitting. It comes out just where the Christensen car has been put. I'm just seeing a few people running, so I'm assuming that's Porsche staff running to Christensen's aid.
Ah.
They can't give him any bits.
Can they advise?
But they can advise.
Okay, sorry, I was thinking someone's going slower there, but everyone's going slow because this is the slow zone on the screen for the tyre wall rebuild that the 92 Porsche made a bit of a mess of, as well as its car. Oh, what is that? A light out, double wave yellows.
Nice spin coming through Indianapolis for somebody. To the inside.
A light out on the rear, so I'm not really sure what that battle that is the gap between second and third overall in this race. That is the fight at the front. The 34 Tockworth car with Karun Chandok into the pits. I don't know who's spun. There's nothing popped up that's who's spun as they accelerate back out of the slow zone through the first couple of corners. The 38 versus the 13 versus the 38. They've got a little bit, I think there's some traffic a bit up the road at the minute. Ollie Jarvis, third overall last year. Took it on the last lap when the Toyota stopped. Third overall now. He'd have never dreamed in a million years when the call came in November that Audi was stopping and he had nothing to do, that he would be running in this position, particularly in a P2 car.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here they come. It's not the first car we're looking at. There's two behind it. It looks like one, but it's actually two. I'm sure, yeah, there is two.
There is, running as one.
See the blue lights on the side? That is to indicate that the tyre wall looks fixed.
What I'm finding strange is the fact they're sending the cars that repaired the tyre wall out past that Porsche and past the Manitou.
Yeah, because they came from right in front of our commentary
across
box.
the circuit, yeah. So they're being sent back the long way. As you see, ASC, those poor guys, they've done some work so far this week, the ASC Bratislava guys. 3-point turns going on galore to get rid of the service vehicles.
I see what they're doing, yeah.
Sending them back round the circuit, round the outer perimeter road, rather than bringing them back across the circuit.
Okay, the slow zones have gone. We're back under full green flag racing. The 92 Porsche is still parked behind the wall. So that's all we've got on it. This is a four cars, tail lights, and I believe, no, I'm not right. I thought two of those cars, or maybe they are, were our second and third overall. Jarvis has got past. I don't know where it's happened, but Jarvis has now got past. That's it there. I didn't see it.
You'd expect that though, Jarvis. Is Jarvis Platinum?
Yeah, he will be. He was factory driver, wasn't it, for Ford?
Past Omar Hansen.
Okay, this is our first in class in the GT Pro. We've been quiet on the GT Pro. Nicky Team, 11 seconds advantage over Sam Bird. Darren Turner in third, and Pierre Guidi in fourth. So that's an Aston Martin Ferrari battle. Then it's 2 Fords, 3 Fords after that, pure and simply because the load of chocolate just arrived on the desk. Pure and simply because we are missing a Porsche. Where's the other Porsche? 91 there. So there is one Porsche in amongst there. Just trying to see, kind of looking out as well as watching the screens. Nicky Team in this car, currently the 95 car. That was the car that had a puncture early on, a double stop, one for the puncture, then one a few laps later for the rear diffuser that they didn't change first time because they felt it was all right.
I'm still not sure they did change it because it was such a quick stop when they came in. I'm not certain that it actually got done. Sparks there as he flies across the right-hand curb. That's a hell of a curve to be banging across at this hour in the morning. So this is the battle, isn't it? This is the place to be. Riding on board with Nicky Team, 10 seconds ahead of Sam Bird in the Ferrari. Sam got another 10 seconds over Darren Turner. So this has stretched itself right out over the through these yellow flags, through these slow zones.
I've got a little bit of a tow here. Mechanics looking on, the ones of them that are awake. Breakfast isn't far away for them. The 66 Ford is on pit road. That can't be the 66 Ford. Actually, it can be.
Yeah.
There is a 66.
There is a 66.
Oh, it's way down.
The
Billy
famous
Johnson.
years.
Yeah, Billy Johnson. Well, I was looking kind of like in amongst my leading drivers, but that's way down.
No, that car's had some issues along the way.
Will Stevens, they are out front in the AM category, the 84 car. That is the JMW Motorsport car. Followed by the Ferrari 488 TTE of Scott, the 55 car that is. And then it's a 77 Porsche, which was the teammate, I believe, to the 88 car that was shunted in the wall at Porsche, goes by the 26G drive. Am I right in saying he was shunted into the wall?
I think that's fair. I mean,
don't want to upset anybody, but it did look like that when I was watching it.
He got pushed quite a long way, didn't he? I don't know. Still haven't seen a view that really confirms what happened. And all you can say is, from the point of contact, it carried on for a long way. JMW crew there, Steve Hagger sitting, looking on at the screen.
Porsche tweeting 9 minutes ago, the 92 Porsche damaged after an off, but not saying any more, not saying whether it's continuing or not. I mean, there's no lights on over there. We don't even see like a torch light flashing around as he's walking around, so...
No, and the helmet's disappeared, but then the car doesn't seem to have tried to fire. And the Manitou is now parked in front of the car where the car's been dropped. So I'm starting to think that that's the last we're going to see of the 92 car. Just as I say that, it'll fire up and drive out the gap, but it's definitely...
Simon Trummer has just tweeted, just out of the medical centre, I'm all okay. Still don't know how that happened, and it's a sad way to leave Le Mans. So Main thing is he is okay.
Simon's not had much luck at this race. He last year fought on with the bi-collars to try and get the thing to the end, and they of course plodded on long and hard, changing spark plugs and turbos and things to get it there, but never a competitive result, and certainly was on for a very competitive finish here at Le Mans in 2017.
Sam Bird was in second place in the Pro category, coming in to windscreen clean its fuel, and it'd be on his way out.
Manu Collard just got on board the number 28 Orica. Manu in his 23rd Le Mans start, consecutive Le Mans start, which is a pretty amazing feat.
So that's our LMP1 category along the bottom. That is all that's left of our LMP1 category. 3 cars in it. 5 cars in hybrid, 1 non-hybrid, so 6 started and 3 still running, and their positions are 1st overall, 14th overall and 31st overall. Car 65 reports to the stewards, it's Christina Nielsen, for speeding in the pit lane. So on board with our leading car here, flicking left and right. Hard on the power, then hard on the brakes, heading towards the end of the lap. First section of the final chicane, second section of the final chicane, and then out onto the pit straight to complete another lap and start lap 210 in this race. 10 hours, 35 minutes still to go. There's a huge amount can still happen. Normally the drama's saved till the last morning. We've had it all in the night. It's all happened a bit early. But drivers get tired, cars get tired, people make small mistakes and cars break down.
Yeah, errors like that Christina Nielsen error there, speeding in the pit lane, she's not going to be able to contest that. It's the things that happen in the wee small hours that define the outcome, really.
I can just see lots of camera flashes going on where the 92 Porsche is parked behind the wall, just opposite the, in the middle of the final chicane. But don't see anything else. It's been there for 26 minutes. So I don't think that's going anywhere, really.
I've not seen a single flash of headlights.
No.
It's not like they've tried to power the thing up. And I think we'd see the reasonably bright lights had they had the need and desire to. We've got the most important driver change of the lot going on in front of us, safety car driver change.
Oh, have we? Oh, right. Oh,
one walking towards us, one getting in.
Okay. He hasn't done very much, so much. He's done a bit, but not that much. I mean, he's had time for a lot of sleeping.
His job.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind his job as well. Yeah. Could have a little nap.
And then get out and have a blast.
Yeah. So the red, I'm not sure on the side. I do like the blue on the green. I haven't seen properly, but okay, the 84 car. That is the leader.
Will Stevens on board, coming down pit lane.
That's the leader of AM.
Will with a lap in hand over the Aaron Scott Spirit of Race Ferrari. Saw Duncan Cameron having a couple of little spins earlier on in the race, but I think there's been a few little spins for most of these cars, but the JMW car seems to be the one that's just solidly hammering around. This car, Jim McWhirter and his crew buying the car only last month, deciding to retire their Ferrari 458 Italia after winning on the last time out, but realising that to be competitive they needed to make the switch to the 488, so then attracting a pretty decent driver lineup into this car.
But how much is one of those cars? I mean, there obviously is a price tag, but is that a public thing?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think basically that's going to have cost Jim £500,000 to do that, because what Jim did was bought a GT3 car and converted it, which is what the one thing, Ferrari are the only manufacturer that allow you to do that. You buy the base GT3 model, buy the update kit, convert it to GTE, you race it here as a GTE car, and then come the winter, if they want to, they can convert that car back to a GT3 car and say, right, I'm going off to go and do Dubai 24-hour, for example.
Okay.
So Jim, very much talking to him earlier in the week, he's done this very much as a business decision, a conscious decision that his 458 wasn't going to give him that flexibility.
Do you see some jumping on the data? Maybe it's from the traction oscillation.
Yeah, copy. We see oscillations. So be gentle on the old girl. Doing a good job. Making sure you're drinking.
Hey, oscillations, which does that mean vibrations? And
Because I always thought oscillations, I'm not the brightest kid in the world, but it's kind of like where the...
is
yeah,
out of sync.
Yes.
Boom, 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 one way or the other. Yeah,
when you're
that's-
accelerating, it's not quite all in sync.
intrigued to know what is really going on.
And then they said to him, just look after the old girl,
Yeah.
you know, and keep drinking.
It's like it's a known problem. It's like it's
Yeah.
something they know they need to manage, and the drivers have already been briefed in how to manage whatever that is. But
Yeah,
we'll
look
see.
after the old girl. The 62 car here is in, and that's Cooper Mcneal, who is in, and I'm sure it was Cooper Mcneal, you'll remind me. Did he not start the race last year because he was ill or something, and his teammates had to race two of them?
They raced two of them, yeah. It is his, in effect, his first Le Mans.
So yeah, he had a fever, didn't he? And I thought it was Cooper Mcneal. So Ollie Jarvis now extending that gap at the front of P2 to LMP2 to 14.7 seconds at the moment. So that's okay. In Pro, we've got obviously somebody. Darren Turner must have been in the pits, and I didn't see it because that gap's now. He's now 21 seconds down, and he was right up the tailpipes of the other car initially. So here's a battle for 6th and 7th. It's Sam Bird versus Andy Priaulx. Half a second between the two of them. Let's listen in. Every time I say that, here we go to another picture. I need to be quicker. We'll get another go, I think. We'll get another go. Because we're going to have, I think we might have an overtake coming up. I think it's just happened. Yeah.
What a gaggle of cars that is.
Yeah. Some fast P2s and P1s going to be mixed in amongst them coming. And the Ford is ahead of the Ferrari there.
Heading down into the first part of the Porsche curves, dips to the right, and then through the quick left, left again, round to the right, beautiful sequence of corners, flows beautifully, and it'll be starting to get to the stage where offline there's so much grip due to the P cars running wide through there in traffic that you'll be able to pick your line. Car number 38 pit stop under investigation. Car number 38 being one of the LMP2 cars. I know that much.
The Jackie Chan car. It's the Jarvis car.
It is the Jarvis
that's
car.
That's the second one of them they've had.
It is.
Yeah. That's the second.
And there was nothing happened after the first one.
No. Okay. He's taking like 4 seconds a lap, 6 seconds on the last lap, out of the guy who is, well, trying to catch him, but isn't catching him at all. Jarvis 6 seconds a lap quicker than the 13 car behind him. The Rebellion is trying to keep up. Remember, Rebellion were 1-2 for quite a long time at Nicky Team. Out front in the Pro category. Jarvis out front in LMP2. LMP1 is Andre Lotterer, and GTE is still Will Stevens in the 84 Ferrari. So P2 car just goes whizzing past. And another one.
Big stop for the first chicane. These Ford GTs do make a strange noise.
It's a bit dull.
Yeah, it's a bit spaceshipy as well. It's a bit, yeah.
And obviously our friend who's still parked up over the wall over there in the Porsche, probably one of the nicest sounding cars, he's deprived of us of one of the Porsches to listen to.
There's a lot of flashing going on over there.
Yeah,
I just wondered whether it was headlights or not.
I think it's cameras.
It is, yeah.
But,
so we see the other Porsche coming into the pits, or is that a Christensen?
it was the Golf car. It was
Ben Barker
yeah,
on board the
86 Porsche Gulf Racing. Yeah, I just think that's spectators with cameras flashing.
Yeah. Julian Canal brings in number 31, Orica, run by the Rebellion crew as well. So that gap, 17.8 seconds at the front of the LMP2 class. Onto the marks. This car, remember, running at the moment without any traction control or automatic shift system.
And they haven't tried to fix that, have they? They've just left that.
They've left it, yeah. Unless they get an opportunity under a yellow to have a look at it, there's no point. They're not losing that much time. If you look at lap times, you know, his in lap was a 3:39. That's pretty respectable.
Back out, having had fuel and a clean-up. Just looking further down. The Turner, he has 1.6 seconds over Pierre Guidi in second to third place in the Pro category.
Yeah, but team has continued to make a break for it. So team is what, 23 seconds up the road now.
Yeah.
So the battle for second is on, but team is definitely up the road. You've got to wonder at what point Aston decide to start playing the strategy game and start backing the others out of him. Let him get a good run.
You mean with Darren potentially backing them up?
Yeah.
I mean, crikey, when do you start that? Because safety car could come out and...
That's what you need. You need a safety car gap. That's what you need to build. You need to build a gap.
Next crocodile.
Get into the next crocodile. That's exactly what you need. You know, are we starting to see gamesmanship in GTE where, you know, they're fine if they're running second, but at the end of the day, they're here for the win. So running second for Turner, if something happened to team, he can go. But to build team a gap, start to push the other guys back. And is it too early, 10.5 hours to go to start playing that game? You know, if you can push them back far enough that you can get a lap, just bordering on a lap, that's a hell of a gap moving into the last 6 hours.
Yeah, into the daylight. And
yeah, we saw after 6 hours the top 10 in GTE Pro were still covered by less than a lap. So if you can do that, you're going to have a big advantage.
63 Corvette Racing there, the Chevy Corvette on its way out. Garcia was on board as it came in. I didn't see a driver change, but there is one here. This is the 69 car. Richard Westbrook getting out. I didn't see who got in, to be fair, because I was more watching Westbrook falling out of the car. Work going on. Just seeing Garcia is still in the 63 car as it comes out. That's a great rig.
It is, yeah.
It's fab, I have to say. No No stress and no panic there, was there? Just make sure it's done.
Away it goes.
Townsend Bell was saying that on his Ferrari, which is the 62 car, basically there's a button on the dashboard, and once he's in the car and settled or whatever, or once he's kind of got his man in front of him, he keeps his finger pushed on the button. As soon as the air jacks are released, the engine fires up, yeah, and it goes. It's kind of like...
I can tell you some things about that sort of thing, but I'm not sure I'm allowed.
Probably not, but yeah, stuff that kind of...
Some devices built into some of these systems that, yeah, drop the car and go. Audi were the pioneers of it, and Audi used to have it so that there was a button on the final wheel gun, so when all 4 wheel guns were pressed, the car started itself and dropped itself.
It's quite cool.
Very cool. All the driver had to do was dump the clutch.
Yeah, and go. So, okay, on board with the number 8 Toyota. Kazuki Nakajima is on board with this car. 31st place overall. A long, lengthy pit stop to change basically a hybrid system. Just an update on the 92 car. It's I'm going to check Twitter before, but I'm just going to write it hasn't gone anywhere. In 39 minutes, it's still sat there. I don't think that's going anywhere. So let's see.
Track temperature still 29.4 degrees. Right, this is just a brake change. No panic here on the 99 car. This is what we've been talking about. So discs, new discs going on. They've got tools to push the caliper pistons back quickly, but they have to do that in sync. You can't do one without doing the other. So they've taken the pads out, pushed the pistons back in an orchestrated manner across the car. Caliper off, disc on, caliper on, pads in and go. So that typically they can do in a couple of minutes.
Okay, confirmation that the pen of doom needs to come out. The 92 car is no longer.
Their own driver error there, so
yeah.
Nobody, unlike many of the other incidents we've seen, nobody else to blame there but Michael Christensen himself. So real shame. Was looking forward to seeing that 2 Porsches in the fight, because others are running pretty strong and have 2 bullets in the gun still. You know, Aston, Ferrari, Ford, Porsche, Ford, Ferrari. First Corvette down in 8th in the class.
Darren Turner's got half a second over Pierre Guidi, and this is the battle for 2nd and 3rd.
Fabien Barthez, the French World Cup goalkeeper, waiting to get into his car. The Paris Barthez competition, number 23 Ligier.
He's getting some new tyres as well.
Yeah.
Fair play for him having a go. He loves it, doesn't he?
Oh, he does, and he is very good. You know, but a typical sportsman, you know, the kid at school that you hated because he's good at everything.
Yeah.
And, I'm quite sure that Fabien Barthez is one of those. Darren Turner, the gap there. So Darren easing the gap out, but it doesn't look like it there, does it? Pierre Guidi in the 51 Ferrari 488, all over the back of him.
6/10. He did ease it out by 1/10 of a second. Oh, it's down to 4.5 tenths now, though.
Ebbing and flowing around the lap.
And Sam Bird's only 1.4 away from Andy Prio in a battle a couple of places back. And Prio's only 10 behind Leeds as well. So there's a few bits and bobs going on. 0.3 of a second between these two.
Top 7 in GTE Pro covered by 55 seconds.
after a lot of hours.
But the gap from team to Turner, 21.
So the 97 car, which is Darren Turner, all tyres have been on, 51. These ones have done less. These are softs and they've done less. Now this will be a tyre battle as well, won't it? As well as a car battle. It'll be Michelin against Dunlop.
Absolutely, and what we saw during the day yesterday was that the Dunlops on the Astons could run away from the rest, and they did. They built a gap which they've lost for various reasons, safety cars and things, but the pace doesn't seem to be there to run away. Tomorrow, when the sun comes up and the track temperature starts coming up into the 40s, I think we're going to see it.
Oh, I thought we were going to see an incident. I thought, because he just was the Ferrari was using the P2 car as a bit of a tow, and all of a sudden Darren Turner was nearly boxed in with the AM car in front of him. I thought we were going to see, it looked like it was going to be a bit of a lunge from the Ferrari, but it wasn't. They didn't touch it. It was all right, but 4 abreast near enough down the straight there.
Yeah, certainly 3 abreast, and then turning through the left.
This is the Ollie Jarvis car. This is 2nd place overall in the race and leading LMP2.
Still under investigation for its last pit stop,
Yeah.
as far as we're aware.
Headlight clean.
Yeah.
Fuel.
Windscreen tear off.
Drinks bottle. And here's the car that it's battling with in the pits as well. There's 21 seconds between us. Jarvis has put in a massive stint there, taking some big time. Nelson Piquet Jr. going in here, so this will be a longer stop. And Nelson Piquet Jr. going to be a driver change. So that's then 2 top drivers versus each other.
Yeah, absolutely. But equally, Rebellion seem to have spent more time getting their 6 hours in for their silvers so far. So that's going to be important to understand at what time who's done in each of those cars as we move into the daylight. Because if Rebellion have done the smart thing of getting the guys out the way so that then they can run the silvers, the golds and platinums to the end, then they're in the box seat. Tristan Lomadi waiting to get in.
He is in the 37 Jackie Chan car, which is running in 9th overall and 8th in LMP2. So this gap would have got out even bigger. It was 19 odd seconds coming in, or 21 coming in, and now that's been a driver change in the 13 car, so that's going to be a minute or so now, that gap. But then it'll come back a bit when the 38 car changes.
Yeah, number 13 heading out.
Nelson Piquet Jr. in that car. All new softs on that. Karun Chandler still out in the Tockworth Motorsport car. He's running 12th overall. Let's have a look at that gap in Pro. Darren Turner and Pierre Guidi, the 97 Aston Martin versus the 51 Ferrari. 1.6 seconds. That is it there. Darren Turner, ooh, you're going to lose some time there. Ferrari trying to latch onto the back of it.
It's interesting that looking at the times, you know, Turner 3:53.8, team 3:52.9, Pierre Guidi 3:55.1. So I do think some gamesmanship is starting here, because Turner can run the same pace as team all day long. He's pushing him back.
Do you think? I mean, the gap's now 3/10. It was 1.6 before, but in just Turner just getting mixed up with that P2 as well.
The point is, Turner's got the pace in a straight line that Pierre Guidi can't get past.
Well, this is him here. There's a bit of
He's done it.
He's done it. He's done it.
Yeah. But Turner will be able to drag back past.
That was a big braking. You
That was
saw
a big move.
You saw the dust and everything coming out of the brakes there.
He knew that he needed to, because he knows what's going on. He knows he's being pushed back into the
It's
into the chasing
24
pack.
seconds now, the gap is. Yeah, 24 seconds. And here comes Turner. No, there's a P2.
Past.
There's a P2 wanting through. It's in the way. Driver change there in the 68 car.
Yeah, it's the P2 car's problem to find its own way past.
I'm surprised it probably in the daylight it would have took to the service road on the side, wouldn't it? So Joey Hand out of this car. Didn't see who got in it. It could be Tony Kanaan or Dirk Muller.
It'll be Dirk Muller into that car, the number 68. Away he goes.
Darren Turner's back past. He's back past, yeah.
And the gap's now out to...
half a second. Nearly 6/10.
Yeah, but the important gap is the one to team, 24. So another second.
Just looking around, what else is going on? Nakajima up to 30th now. 14th for Brendan Hartley. Now Hartley's starting to come across faster cars, so he's not taking those 2 cars an hour now. I mean, I know we're 49 minutes into that, because I checked it at 4 o'clock and he was 14th. We're 4:49 and he's still 14th. So now it becomes a lot more difficult for him to make up, because we've got faster cars here. Here's the 51 Ferrari. That's now been just pushed back down, but they're in a little bit of traffic through the Porsche curves. Is the Ferrari going to be able to do anything about it? They've got the WeatherTech Ferrari in front. So Ferrari, Aston Martin Ferrari, and the Ferrari, they won't know that there's a big battle going on behind them. But Cooper Mcneal there has potentially helped another Ferrari. He hasn't been able to do anything about it there. Still Aston Martin in second, followed by the Ferrari in third. .81 of a second between the 2 cars as they go across the line.
But importantly, Turner's gap. Team 35, sorry, 54.9. Turner, 56.6.
I'm not sure I'm subscribing to your theory quite yet.
Turner's run the same times as him throughout the race. Why would he suddenly be 2 seconds off? You've got to make your move sooner or later, haven't you?
You can't wait till the end.
No.
And I tell you what,
and not in this class.
The Ferrari is about to make its move. It's coming right up behind. Here it comes. He's going to have to do it on the brakes again, like he did a lap ago. Yellow flag somewhere. Car 90 stopped. Car 90. That is the Aston Martin of TF Sport.
Has just had full service. Brake changed a lot, so that's a concern.
The brake dust just coming out of both of those cars. The 97 flicking right, then left, then right out of chicane. Ferrari right up behind it. It's 2 cars looking like one. The 90 car, that's the Turkish driver on. I think he's the first Turkish driver to start them on.
Salih Yuluk.
He's on board it. He's stopped out on track. Yellow flag, so maybe he's just stuck in some gravel somewhere. And we're in amongst. Neil Jani is in the pits. He'd be obviously being woken up, get himself ready. Some of these slower P2 cars, and there's not many of them, but some of them either just getting in the way in the corners, but then pulling away in the straights against this battle. 0.4 of a second.
Paul Dell'Alana waiting to get back into the GTE AM car. Where are they in class now? Pedro Lamy way back.
They had that issue, didn't they? Just about half an hour, 40 minutes before we came on. So it was about 11:15, I think it was, when they Pedro Lamy had a flat spot. Oh, someone's got this to be the car that's going slow.
LMP2.
No, that's an LMP2. That's not the Aston Martin. So the 21
Dragon
car.
Speed 21. Yeah.
It's currently sitting in 14th overall.
Ben Hanley on board.
It's just been overtaken by Brendan Hartley. But I think that might be a puncture, the way that it just seemed to, the headlights were flapping around and vibrating, but not sure. We're flicking. This is back. This is back. This is the battle, second and third in the Pro GT Pro category. There's a back marker in front. That's one of the Porsches. Then that is the Aston Martin. He's already got him in there. So Ferrari now needs to get through. And that's Proton racing car, isn't it?
Yeah, Proton car backing him up. Right where you don't want to catch a slower car through the Porsche curves. Look at the way that Darren Turner's managed to pull the gap there.
It'll be a second at the end of the lap, I think, because it's already up to 7 tenths. It won't be far off a second just because of that. That just gives Turner a little bit of breathing space. The gap, Nicky team
53.2 last time round for team versus 56.6.
3 seconds.
Still don't subscribe to my theory?
No, because he had a bit of traffic. I don't know.
If you were the team manager at ProDrive right now,
I actually kind of do quite know them, but
yeah.
Oh, they're in the pits anyway. 51's in the pits. This is, where's my 51 car gone? This is it. They're in the pits anyway. So, right. Okay, that was the car that was in that fight. It's come in. Not a driver change. It's just, that's another car going slowly. That's
the same.
Is that
car.
the same one? Oh, hang on. What's happening here? Right. This could answer some questions to us. Oh. That's a
puncture right front.
Let's see.
I think it's right front.
Okay, so
the car's driving fairly flat and
yeah,
level, which means it's a front.
A 21 car. This is going slowly. It still is, and it probably potentially will remain in 14th overall. Team are ready.
A bit too ready. Probably got another couple of minutes yet.
Car 90 has rejoined, so that makes it out to me that that was stuck somewhere.
Yeah,
we haven't seen any pictures, you know.
Well, I suspect he'll come back past us on the way in.
Yeah, just with it saying it's now rejoined. It's our leader of the race. That's pit road. Yeah. How long has he been in for?
Lotra, he's got another 2 stints to go. They're only doing 13 laps, though. They're not doing the 14-lap stints.
And the Toyotas are managing, well, the Toyota is managing it, but that doesn't really matter now. It would have mattered if everything was still there, but it doesn't matter now, does it?
I think that some people would like to turn the clock back and start 3 o'clock again with a little bit of hindsight as we see the number 8 car come and join us on pit lane 2. So number 8 now up to 30th overall. Kazuki Nakajima on board. Kazuki probably staying on board for one more stint to make it a quad. Out goes Andre Lotra, our race leader. The GTE Pro category, 353 versus 353. So now Turner matching Nicky Team's pace. As we saw, Pierre Guidi came in for a service. So Pierre Guidi's fallen back, but the others owe us a stop.